Tonight, disturbing allegations against a local animal hospital. 6 of its former employees have come forward to the Team 6 investigators to talk about what they claim they saw at the clinic. Also, a former customer asking for an investigation after the death of her cat. The vet at the center of all this, denying, though, she did anything wrong. Here now is Team 6 investigator Mary Masihi, who has spent weeks looking for answers.
This home video shows the last moments Alicia Morgan had with her cat LJ before she was put to sleep at Panda Animal Clinic.
You don't have to put that on. No tiene que poner esto.
In the video, she says she's asking the vet tech not to put a muzzle on her cat that is being euthanized. Morgan says LJ's fatal trip began more than a week before this video was taken, when she took LJ and her sister Azul to get declawed at the animal clinic in Hialeah.
This is our cat, and a few days after coming back from having its rear back claws removed, the cat has been very sick, vomiting often.
She was so sick, she was very weak, and she wasn't eating. She was already acting to me like she was dying.
Morgan says when she took LJ to Panda Animal Clinic, she was a healthy 7-month-old cat. She had her shots and had been checked by another vet weeks before. LJ had also had her front claws removed without incident at another facility. But Morgan says after the new surgery at Panda, the cat developed gangrene and renal failure. She complained to the veterinarian who runs the clinic, Dr. Haydee Perez Tirse.
We did everything we could for this kitty cat. Nothing was done wrongly.
In a phone interview, Dr. Perez Tirse told us the cat presented a blood clot in the leg, which is a normal surgery complication that could not be avoided. Morgan says she wants the case investigated and has filed a complaint with the Florida Board of Veterinary Medicine, alleging Dr. Perez Tirse was negligent and incompetent in her care of LJ.
I'd put it to Dr. Perez, you do the math, I bring you a healthy cat, you bring me a cat that's dying. I think you did something wrong.
Morgan is asking the board that the vet's license be suspended for a year, and she's not the only one leveling accusations against Dr. Perez Tirse. This former employee who asked not to be identified shows the Team 6 investigators a needle he says he took from the clinic to prove that needles were being reused.
And if you see the needle, it's a little bent.
5 other former employees tell NBC6 needles were regularly reused, even if they were dull or bent, in order to save money.
We had a secondary doctor that we had at the clinic, and he would request, hey, I want you guys to use fresh needles because I do not want to be poking this animal 3-4 times, with the same needle, because it just wouldn't go into the skin.
I don't reuse the needles. I just reuse syringes, okay? We separate them, we clean them out, we reuse them again. They're perfectly fine to reuse at least one more time before they're discarded.
Dr. Perez Tirse denies reusing needles and says the allegations are being made up by disgruntled former employees. One of those ex-employees showed the Team 6 investigators a picture of a plastic bin full of syringes and needles. A similar bin was captured by our undercover camera during a tour of Panda Animal Clinic. Ex-employees tell us that's where used needles and syringes were placed prior to sterilization.
And who separates these needles?
My employee, who's in charge of doing that.
Okay.
I have one employee that's in charge of doing that.
The vet vehemently denies reusing needles, yet a workers' comp claim filed in 2001 says an employee sterilizing needles in clinic pinched her right hand by an unsterile needle.
That lady did stab herself. I don't recall what she was doing at the time.
Whether she was sterilizing needles or simply pulling them apart, OSHA, the federal agency who enforces safety regulations, tells the Team 6 investigators used needles and syringes should never be collected in a temporary container, which is later emptied into another container. The Florida Administrative Code on Biomedical Waste also states that sharps shall be discarded at the point of origin into single-use or reusable sharps containers. Experts tell us the plastic bin we captured on video does not qualify as a proper sharps container, which should look like this.
So everything is single use.
The Team 6 investigators consulted with South Florida Veterinary Medical Association President Maria Oliveira and veterinarian and attorney Robert Foley. They cannot comment on this case, but say there are several reasons why needles shouldn't be reused.
If the needle is barbed at the end because of repeated use, it could be painful to the animal.
When you're reusing needles, one, you cannot clean them sanitize them or sterilize them properly. So if you're using one needle in different dogs, or cats, you can be transmitting diseases.
But according to former employees, Dr. Perez Tirse didn't always have the best interest of the animals in mind.
When we saw somebody with a big, healthy dog, that dog was most likely going to be used as a donor.
Tomorrow, in the second part of our investigation, here what these ex-employees say happened to some animals that came in for routine checkups. We should note that we spoke to a current employee and a customer off camera who praised Dr. Perez Tirse's skills as a veterinarian. We also checked with the state, and she has never been disciplined. For the Team 6 investigators, Miriam Masihi, NBC6, South Florida.
Here now is Team 6 investigator Miriam Masihi with part 2 of our exclusive investigation.
Undercover video taken inside Panda Animal Clinic shows a state-of-the-art facility. The very busy clinic in Hialeah is run by the veterinarian Perez Tirse, who's been licensed since 1988. But the picture being painted by half a dozen of her former employees contradicts the shiny exterior.
So people would drop off their animal in the morning, thinking that they're just going to get routine vaccines, and the animal would actually be used as they would pump blood out of him.
They would steal blood from the animal and sell it to other people, explains this former employee. 4 other ex-employees corroborate these allegations, including 2 who spoke to the Team 6 investigators asking we conceal their identities. They say the blood was being drawn from animals without their owner's knowledge or consent.
So we actually had 2 or 3 people come back and be like, hey, what's going on with my dog's neck? Why does he have this huge ball up the neck? Obviously he came in doing his neck.
Yeah. I have my own dogs for somebody else's. I have my own animals. I have 3 dogs that I use, okay, for my blood, when I need blood.
In a telephone interview, Dr. Perez Tirse denied the allegations, claiming they are being made up by disgruntled former employees.
Come on.
Like Marcial Leal, who filed a police report against her in 2010 for an incident involving. He says the doctor was enraged because he hadn't removed a dog's leash during a procedure, so she took the leash off the dog, put it over Leal's neck, and pulled on it, saying, "Do you like it when someone does this?"
I was showing him exactly how to put a leash, okay, and when I put it over the head, he got upset. He goes, "Don't be putting that over me." Okay, but in no moment was he choked.
So the lesions around his neck that we see in these hospital pictures?
Those were made by him.
Leal quit his job after that incident. Other former employees say they've quit because they couldn't tolerate the vet's managerial style and bizarre practices.
There is a container of testicles and ovaries and all that stuff removed from animals that were neutered and spayed in a freezer, and day by day they normally take some out to put it in the food to be able to feed the dogs in the back. She'll be like, okay, here, I want you to feed these ovaries to these dogs that we have currently in the clinic hospitalized, or feed these testicles because they're full of testosterone to our male guard dog, so you can become more aggressive.
Veterinarian and attorney Robert Foley can't comment on this case, but says there is no holistic benefit to this type of practice, and not disposing of animal parts properly could be a problem.
Animal parts are body parts.
Her response to me, is it's okay, it's normal, it's healthy for them, it's what they need, you know.
The past 2 nights, the Team 6 investigators brought you the claims of more than half a dozen ex-employees of a Hialeah veterinarian. The claims included using dirty needles, stealing blood, and feeding the animals the discarded body parts of other pets. Now tonight, that vet takes us inside her clinic to refute those claims, saying those ex-employees have a vendetta against her. Here's Team 6 investigator Miriam Masihi.
She's defending her reputation as a veterinarian.
I would never harm or compromise any animal under my care, under any circumstances.
Dr. Haydee Perez Tirse inviting the Team 6 investigators inside her business, Panda Animal Clinic, after several former employees came forward accusing her of drawing blood from animals without their owner's consent, feeding pet organs to sick dogs, and reusing dull and bent needles.
The famous container that came on TV, again, you look in, there's no needles.
Our undercover camera capturing that container during a previous tour of the clinic. It was similar to a picture provided by a former employee that showed needles and syringes inside. The doctor stressing she doesn't reuse needles, only syringes, because she's worried about the environment. And the picture we saw.
But it looks to me like that was staged. It was staged to make me look bad.
More than half a dozen former employees told the Team 6 investigators needles were reused. Some asked we conceal their identities.
We had certain animals come back that had reaction to vaccines that were given with these needles.
But the doctor, supported by a group of current employees and longtime clients, say that's a lie.
She takes it out of a little sterile plastic. She does whatever she has to do, and she throws it away in the garbage.
We asked an employee about a workers' comp claim filed in 2001 by another former employee, which we first reported on Tuesday.
While claimant was sterilizing needles in clinic, pinched her right hand by an unsterile needle. That's kind of pinpointed.
Right. She couldn't have done that because we don't do that.
Satisfied clients and employees who defend the doctor are not the only ones calling NBC6 following our investigation. More than a dozen dissatisfied clients also reached out, among them Sylvia Membreno.
And then my son, he's like, why? He was perfectly healthy, Mommy. Why?
Membreno says she took her 2 healthy Yorkies to Panda on August 31st for routine vaccines and dental cleaning. A day later, Macho died, and 4 days later, Tinka developed an aggressive infection.
They had to actually completely open her up, flush her, clean her, everything out, and put about 5 drainages all over her.
Membreno's attorney has filed a claim with Panda's insurance after he says the vets who ended up saving Tinka's life told Membreno something must have happened at Panda.
It was either a dirty needle or some type of infection that was injected into the dog as a result of something that occurred at the first facility.
Dr. Perez Tirse says she can't comment on this case, but stressed that in any clinic some cases go well and some don't, and it's not the fault of the veterinarian.
Sometimes animals can get infection, just like a person, because their immune system is compromised.
The doc rejects all of the claims made by the former employee, saying she would never do anything to put her license at risk. As we reported in the first part of our investigation, another South Florida woman has filed a complaint against Dr. Perez Tirse for the death of her cat. We should note we checked with the state, and Dr. Perez Tirse has never been disciplined. For the Team 6 investigators, Miriam Masihi, NBC6, South Florida.